Unapologetic was my second album getting to assistant engineer on the mixing side for Rihanna. It was mixed by the remarkable multiple Grammy-winning mixer, Phil Tan, and Phil had been mixing for her since 2006, the album A Girl Like Me. And that camp had been putting out albums for her each year since 2005. So, Unapologetic was the seventh studio album. The team, it's a well oiled machine at this point. We worked on five of the songs off the album. Four of them end up being singles, with two of them being international hits. Phil mixed Diamonds, Stay, What Now, Jump, and Lost in Paradise. For me, I was still a young engineer, only 2.5 years after graduating and a year into working with Phil. Being on the mixing side gives you an interesting perspective. I was taking advantage of learning from all of these different phases of making a record, getting to examine those recording and production sessions, learning Phil's processes, and being amazed at how he elevates it during the mix, and then getting to listen to the difference of the final master coming back from the fantastic Chris Gehringer. I was just all astonished that I had the opportunity to play a small role and get a front row seat to the magic of what goes into making a number one album. I don't think that there's like a specific moment that stands out to me. I do remember some late nights, rush deliveries, and tight deadlines, but that's typical for an album at this level. And once again, this wasn't our first rodeo, so we knew what to expect and were prepared, and everything was on time for the release. There was one track that there was kind of an inside joke between the engineers because there's a mistake that didn't get fixed. Honestly, it's probably only the engineers who could hear it, as consumers typically don't listen that critically. And the song went on to be very successful. So, yeah, it's more or less just a side note and probably a reminder that perfection doesn't make the record. When Diamonds came in, just from the first playback of that session, you knew it was going to be a hit. Another fantastic Stargate production, co produced and written by Benny Blanco and Sia. And, you can hear her in that record. Another beautiful vocal production by Kuk Harrell, and magnificent engineering by Marcos Tovar and Miles Walker. That's my favorite as far as you knowing it's going to be a big record before the world even has a chance to hear it. And an obvious mention goes to Stay, featuring and co produced by Mickey Echo. Stay was one of those records that I didn't realize it was going to be as big as it was. In fact, Stay is 9 times platinum. But my personal favorite is the song called Jump, also produced by Stargate. And even though Phil mixed it, so I did get to work on it, I still just really enjoyed it as a fan and as a consumer. You first recognize the lyrics from Genuine's Pony, and it's kind of building you up in a certain direction. And then it has this massive dubstep break that you just aren't expecting. Dubstep had already crossed over mainstream, but it was still early in the fusions into urban genres. So I was just interested to see kind of how the world was going to react to that record. In your career, you're just working to work and build your craft and learn and grow. And it's always exciting working on major label projects with big, high profile artists. And you have some sense of what's going to do well, but you never really know how well a project's going to be received. Unapologetic ended up being Rihanna's first number one album on Billboard's 200. It's just really cool that I got to play a part in this musical history. And it also ended up being nominated and winning for Best Contemporary Urban Album in the 56th Annual Grammy Awards. Before I even knew I wanted to be an engineer, I was a huge fan of Stargate, and I had been a fan of Rihanna since Unfaithful, which guess who mixed that? Surprise, surprise, Phil Tan. So years later, getting to be an assistant engineer for the mixing phase of Stargate's production, along with, a mixing engineer who I was a huge fan of a lot of his work, is just one of those things I wouldn't have known to dream it if I knew to dream it. Looking back and celebrating this 10-year anniversary of the album, it's really inspiring to see these early beginnings of my career. Congratulations on all this success to the main artist, Rihanna, and as well to the producers, engineers, and all the heavy lifters of this album. I'm so appreciative to be among studio personnel who are the top tier of their craft. I'm also honored to reflect on this album and encouraged to continue my dedication to my engineering craft.